Hello. So this is WCW World Championship Wrestling, March the 14th, 1992. Yeah, I watched this on YouTube. This probably won't happen again. I just fancy doing it. So, tag team match to begin with was Cactus Jack, bang bang, against Diamond Dallas Page before he did the high five, or self high five, or something that had five in it. I don't know. And they took on the tag team of the Natural Dustin Rose and not the Natural Barry Windham. It was actually not a bad match overall, not too bad. But Dustin and Barry got the win when Barry clotheslined, obviously, Diamond Dallas Page for the 1, 2, 3. Next match was the Cruncher Larry Zbyszko taking on Jumping Joey Maggs. And Joey Maggs actually got quite a lot of offense in this, but he didn't win. Larry Zbyszko with the brainbuster to get the 3. So a win there for the Dangerous Alliance. The next match was one half of the United States Tag Team Champions, Greg Valentine, taking on Marcus Alexander Badwell, who the previous week they tried to put in the hospital by trying to break his neck. Obviously that didn't work because he's got a match here. They kept referencing it, so it was a bit weird. And after some interference from Taylor Made Man, and then on commentary they had the Z-Man. He went out to confront Taylor Made Man and punched him in the face. But then Greg Valentine got the win in the end for some shady shenanigans to get the 1, 2, 3. This show, I'm just going to go off to a side point. This show's weird because JR was is the main commentator on it. Really weirdly, he's the main commentator. But he didn't have a co-host. Every match seemed to have a different person on commentary. It was weird. It was really weird. The first one had Paulie Dangerously, and he was going on about a conspiracy. Never seen that before. But yeah, and then they had at various points in the night they had Rick Rude, Cats Jack, Z-Man, as I said. It was just weird, just odd. Considering they had at that time they had Tony Schiavone on commentary, and then they had Jesse Ventura on commentary, and they had. They could have. There's some people in the back, Terry Funk. They could have had, but no, weird, very very strange. Next match was a tag match between Ron Simmons and making his in-ring return for WCW, Junkyard Dog. Because if you remember, you may not remember, but when I told you about Clash of the Champions, Junkyard Dog appeared in the crowd and got involved. So he's now Ron Simmons' tag partner, and they took on Mike Thor and Gorgeous George South, who, if you probably don't know, is not that gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And Simmons and Junkyard Dog got the win after a couple of power slams, one from JYD and the other one from the All-American Ron Simmons. They get the victory. There's a lot of matches on this, but I hope I'm not boring you. It's I'm Will Nitro, I don't bore no one. Richard Morton then took on the WCW Light Heavyweight Champion, which was Flying Brian. Not a bad match. They were trying to make out that it was a good match. It was an okay match, I'd say. It was all right. It's not like the greatest light heavyweight match. It wasn't good as Brian and Jushin Liger at Super Brawl. That was really good. But this was okay. It was all right. But Flying Brian got the victory in the end. And he got the win. The next match the next two matches are just completely pointless and shouldn't be on the show. And I don't know why I'm reviewing them, but they were on the show, so I have to. The WCW World Heavyweight Champion Sting in non-title action against Mark Canterbury. I think you know who Mark Canterbury is. If you don't, then you need to do your research, because Will Nitro is not going to tell you who Mark Canterbury morphed into a few years later in the World Wrestling Federation. And that is the bottom line. Not because Stone Cold said, though, because Will Nitro is the gospel. Anyway, Sting won by pinfall, obviously, but this match only lasted about a minute. Hence why I don't think it should have been on the show. They could have had another match, like a tag match or something, with people that they weren't using at that point in time. It was completely pointless, and I don't understand why they did it. And then they did it again in the next match as the United States Heavyweight Champion Rick Rude took on Greg Casey, and Rick Rude won with the Rude Awakening. Ricky Steamboat was on commentary. So yeah, I understand why he was on commentary, but I still don't understand why WCW as a whole had guest commentators for the whole show. It doesn't make sense. But then, what does make sense in WCW in 1992? Not a lot. But yeah, Rick Rude obviously won. So he got the victory. And then we come to your main event of the evening, which was the WCW World Television Championship was on the line. A stunning Steve Austin defended against Scott Steiner. Yes, Scott Steiner had a shot at the TV title. And it looked like it was actually quite a good competitive match. Lots of suplexes, as you can imagine. Lots of flashy moves. Really good. Very informative. I liked it. And then the end came. The most obvious ending in WCW that they always do when there's a title match on the line. Yes, that's right. Scott Steiner won by disqualification when Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and I think maybe Larry Zbyszko as well, got involved and beat him up. Yes, he won the match but didn't win the title. So still, your World Championship Wrestling, World Television, I don't know why they call them world titles, because they're not. World Television Champion, stunning Steve Austin. Nothing so cold about that. And yes, he retained his title, so well done to him. That was great. That was the show. Yeah, I'd give it a 6 because there were some really good things in it, but there was some really stupid, pointless, archaic, weird stuff. But yeah, it was a good show. It's a good show. So yeah, there we are. That, ladies and gentlemen, was just to recap, was WCW World Championship Wrestling for March the 14th, 1992. They were hinting at things to come. I'm not going to go into specifics here, but I can save that for another day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. But yes, that was WCW World Championship Wrestling. You've been the viewers. I've been Will Nitro. Thank you for watching. See you next time.